you, thank you. That's about 7 after.
All right. All right, so we will go ahead, and we've already actually been talking for a long time, so we'll see how long my voice lasts. We are here today. My name is Terry Jones. I am with an organization called Stand Up America Now. Stand Up America Now is simply about what we are doing today. It is about encouraging you and me to stand up and speak our mind. As we are aware, if you are looking around, if you watch the news, if you look beyond the smiley politicians, and let me tell you and let me warn you, it doesn't matter if they are Republican, it doesn't matter if they are Democrat, it doesn't matter if they are Tea Party, they are all lying. They're all saying the same thing. We will create more jobs, we will spend more money, we will get us out of the hole. Those things will not happen. American people, we must wake up. We are 14.5 trillion in the hole. We cannot spend money. We must cut the budget. What we must do, and what the politicians will not tell us, is that the results and what we need to do to save our country will be very, very painful. It is not going to be an easy fix. There will be no easy fix. We must cut military. We must cut health care. We must cut every single thing we can. There will be no easy fix. Please do not believe the politicians when they say it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. If we do not drastically make a change, we will face a nationwide, possibly worldwide depression. That's what Stand Up America is about, to get you to stand up, speak your mind. Do not be duped. Do not swallow the blue pill. What we're about today is 9/11. What we want to do today is bring attention to what happened, of course, almost 10 years ago. We want to talk about 3 different aspects of that. The Twin Towers. That was, of course, a disastrous event, a disastrous thing that happened. We want to talk about, number 2, the people who are not talked about. The people who are not talked about enough, and that is the first responders. We have a mayor, just as we have an anti-patriot president. We have a mayor in New York City who is not a patriot. We have a mayor in New York City who is not doing the right thing. During the 9/11 ceremony, as you already know, the first responders were not invited. That is an absolute tragedy. That is an absolute thing that should cause us in New York City, should cause us as an American people. We should stand up, we should speak out, we should let our voice be known. That is absolutely terrible. Those are the people who are the heroes of 9/11. They need to be invited. They need to be recognized. The people who put their life on the line at that time. That would be the police of New York City. That would be the fire department. And that would be the port authorities of New York and New Jersey. It is absolute tragedy that those people, representatives of those people, are not invited to this event. The third purpose of today is continue, and let us not be fooled. Continue to raise an awareness of the radical element of Islam. We have a White House that appeases Islam. We'll have a president who at one time said his religion was Islam. We have a White House that appeases Islam. According to White House policy, if there is an official 9/11 event, it is not allowed to mention what actually happened on that day and why it happened and who did it. It was a radical Islamic attack that day. According to our White House, we are not allowed to say that. In other words, they are ignoring the very thing that happened, the very cause of what happened. The radical element of Islam. We must raise our voice concerning that, and we must, as Americans, we must send a very clear message to the Muslim community. Our message to the Muslim community is very, very clear. We have a constitution. We are governed alone by that constitution. Any Muslim that lives in the United States of America who is here legally is, of course, welcome. Our message to the Muslim community in the United States of America: if you are here legally, you are welcome. You are protected under the First Amendment. You can build mosques, you can evangelize, you can read from the Quran. You are more than welcome to do that. What is not welcome, we do not welcome the changing or the altering of the Constitution of the United States. If you are here, then you must be willing to honor and obey and submit to the Constitution of the United States. We do not want Sharia. We do not want any other type of government in the United States of America. That is our message to the Muslim community. We must take that very, very seriously. I have spent 30 years in Europe. During that time, I saw the growth of the radical element of Islam. We cannot believe what Islam says as long as Islam is a minority. We must look and see what does Islam do. And we look around the world, what do we see? As we look around the world, we do not see that Islam is a religion of peace. What we have to do is not believe what is said here in America, but we must look around the world and see what is being done in Muslim, Islam-dominated countries. 1,400 years of Islam in Egypt has produced death, destruction, the killing, the burning of churches. That is the actual true nature of the radical element of Islam. We need to look at that. We need to see at the facts and their track record. And now not only what they say here in America, but what do they actually do? That is the aspect that we have to look at. Islam proclaims to be a religion of peace. The question is Islam actually a religion of peace? We know that in America, we know that around the world, Islam is considered a religion, and they say that they are a religion of peace. As we look at the actual facts, not at what they say, because people can say a lot of things, and some people are very good speakers, some people are very bad speakers, some people can get their message across. We have to look at Islam. What does Islam, not what they say, what do they actually do? Is Islam a religion of peace? Every 5 minutes in a Islam, Quran-dominated country, a Christian is being killed. That is a fact. In Egypt, where 10% are Christians, every single day a Christian is killed, a house is burned. As we look at Europe, what is going on there, we have to look at does Islam actually do? Is Islam a religion of peace? The Nobel Peace Prize has been given 98 times. The Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded 98 times. In the first 77 years, the Nobel Peace Prize was not awarded one time to a Muslim, Islam-dominated country. In the first 77 years. In the years after that, it was awarded 5 times. 2 of those awards were given to activists against Islam and against Sharia. The other 2 were given and were in relationship to President Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton and the peace talks. In the whole history of the Nobel Peace Prize, The award was only given one time to a Muslim from Egypt concerning his work on the peaceful use of nuclear power. Islam is not a religion of peace. Is Islam a religion of creativity? Is Islam a religion of creativity? Does Islam promote creativity? Does it promote free thinking in an Islam-dominated country? If you look at the record, you will find every single important invention, whether it be the automobile, whether it be the assembly line, whether it be the telephone, whether it be electricity, whether it be nuclear power, whether it be a man on the moon, you will find every single important invention was not invented by a Muslim, Quran-dominated country. It is a religion of oppression. Is it a religion of generosity? I have some very interesting facts for you. These things are facts. These are not opinions. These are facts that you can look up on the internet yourself. Is Islam a religion of generosity? You know, we think normally of religion. We think of Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, some offshoot of Christianity, Islam. Is Islam a religion of generosity? Because normally religions should help the poor. Normally religions are there for the poor, for the needy, for the disadvantaged. That's what religions do. I have been a pastor for a very long time, 30 years. And religions are always something that they help the poor. Islam talks generosity. Islam talks peace. But when we look at the actual track record, we see no peace. Islam talks generosity, goodness, but is Islam actually a generous religion? I want to give you a list of the countries who has helped and given economical aid to poor countries. These things are not facts. These are not my opinion. These things are facts. Countries that have given economical aid to poor countries. Do we find a generous Islam? Number one. Number one is, of course, as you can imagine, the most generous nation in the world. That is, of course, the big Satan, the United States of America. The United States of America is number one. They are the most generous, the most free nation in the world. $23.5 billion the United States gives as foreign aid to economically poor nations. If you badmouth America, you should check your history book. We are the most generous. We are the freest. We are the least racist country in the entire world. I lived 30 years outside of the United States. I know that. Number two is the United Kingdom with $12.5 billion foreign aid. So far we do not see Saudi Arabia. Where's Saudi Arabia? Well, where is Kuwait? Well, where is all these oil-rich nations that are helping the poor? Oh, okay, good. We've only got to number two. Number three, France, $10.6 billion. Number four, Germany, $10.4 billion. Number five, Japan, $7.5 billion. I have a list of 25 nations, America being number one. Back off America, shame yourself. Shame on you. 25 nations, 25. You know, in 25 different nations, there is not one Islamic nation who gives anything to the poor, to the needy nations of the world, not one. So no matter what they talk, no matter what they say, facts are facts. out of 25 different nations. You know, number 25 is Iceland. Iceland gave 6.7 million to poor and needy nations. So I ask you, well, what kind of a God, what kind of a religion is that? 25 nations, not one of them being Islamic, not one of them helping the poor, not one of them giving to another nation. You know why? Because they do not help infidels. No matter what they say, that they do not help unbelievers. They do not help infidels. You see, the nice little Muslim here in America is a lie and deception. They are trying to create a front. Even the Quran that is here in America, it is not the real Quran. I have many Arab friends, and that's not the Quran. The Quran has been watered down. The American Quran has been watered down in order to look at the facts. You do not believe me. You have an internet. You have a Google. Google it yourself. 25 nations. Not one was Islamic. Not a single one. It's not a religion of generosity. It's a religion of bondage. It's a religion of lies and deception. Totally void of human rights, civil rights. It's totally void. I'll give you some examples. These examples are also correct, accurate. Look them up yourself. You cannot believe what Islam says in America. I will give you an example, and I will give you something to think about. You cannot believe what a minority in Islam in America. Muslims are a minority. Listen very carefully. You cannot believe what a minority says as long as it's still a minority. You can only believe what the minority does when it becomes the majority. How does it then treat the minorities under them? And when we look at Islam, you see what they do. You see what they do to women. You see what they do to Christians. In order to get a good picture of Islam, we can't look at America. In order to get an accurate picture of Islam, we must look at, let's say, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the heart of Islam. Saudi Arabia is the birthplace of Islam. Saudi Arabia is the beginning of Islam. So what does Islam look like? But not in America. They're fooling us. They're like the politicians that lie to us. They say job program, lies. Well, what we have to look at is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the birthplace, the home of Islam. Saudi Arabia, 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudis. Well, what about women's rights? In Saudi Arabia, women may neither vote or run for public elections. Well, women are treated according to the Quran like animals. According to the Quran, it is very obvious. It says that a woman's word is worth half of a man. Women in Saudi Arabia may neither vote nor run for national elections. Where's the women? Well, where are the women's rights groups? Where are the women around the world who are standing up for women that are being oppressed, murdered, killed in Islamic-dominated countries? In northern Africa, where Islam is, they have a thing they call circumcision. Circumcision is when they take young girls, they take them into a Saudi women have limited rights, limited freedoms, without permission from a male guardian. They may not travel, get an education, or work. That's your free Islam. That's your religion of peace and harmony, promoting civil rights and human rights, without a permission from a male guardian or her husband or some other male guardian. She cannot travel. She cannot work. and she cannot get an education. And regardless of permission, she is not allowed to drive a car. This is the true face of Islam. And see, we all know, we all to a certain extent have 2 or 3 faces. Our government has 2 or 3 faces. Islam has a face that it gives us here in America. That is the American face. That is the happy face. That is the face of freedom, peace, harmony, women's rights. But when you actually really look, it is not the true face of Islam. Regardless of permission, they are not allowed to drive or mix with men. Are you mixing with men? Mixing. Quit mixing. Y'all mixing. Anyway. You're not allowed to mix with men. You're not allowed to drive a car. Or to leave your home without covering yourself and looking like Darth Vader. A Muslim man can have 4 wives. He can divorce his wife if he wants to by saying, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. A Muslim woman must go to court. No matter what the reason is. Her husband beats her, which is common in Islam. It's common. Look on the internet. Islam will give you instructions on how to beat your wife. According to the Quran 4:34, it's allowed. Look on the internet. Look on YouTube. Well, right there will be plenty of examples of good Muslim men who will teach you how to beat your wife. That is the true nature of Islam. Women in Islam are still being stoned. I believe just a few days ago, several homosexuals were hung. Islam is not a religion of peace. Don't buy it. Check it out yourself. Look at it. Look what is going on in Europe. As I said, I spent 30 years in Europe as a missionary. I saw the lie. I saw the nice, peaceful Muslim who, as they gain in numbers, look historically, as they gain in numbers, 1%, 2%, 3%, as they get to around 4%, they start to institute and push Sharia. Anyone and everyone who is in our country legally is welcome. What is not welcome in our country is Sharia. People who come here must honor and obey and submit to the Constitution of the United States. And as I close, let us remember 9/11. Let us remember who did it. Let us remember the radical element of Islam. And let us not only remember the victims of 9/11. That was a terrible thing. They will be honored tomorrow. But let us remember the true heroes of 9/11. Let us remember the 23 police officers of New York City who died. They were not victims. They were people who went into battle. They were the people who put their life on the line. They were the people who did it so that people could possibly live. Let us not only remember the 3,000 who died, the 3,000 who were victims. Let us remember the 23. Let us remember the 343 from the New York Fire Department. And let us remember the 37 from the New York and New Jersey Port Authority. If you speak out against Islam in Pakistan, you can be killed. We are the only country left with freedom of speech. And freedom of speech, remember, freedom of speech is only valid, it's only good, it's only effective if it allows me or you to say what you do not like. For freedom of speech is of no good if it only speaks the status quo, if it does not speak anything new, if it does not cause us to think. Freedom of speech is no good if it only parrots what everybody else says. Freedom of speech must cause us to think. It must create a reaction. It must make us happy. It must make us mad. But above all things, it must cause us to think. It must bring within us a result and an action. We must possibly say, I hate what that person says. I hate that person. And I'm going to think about what he said. Is what he said possibly true? Check it out. Our nation is going the wrong way. Our government is lying to us. Check it out yourself. We must make some drastic changes in the United States of America, or we will face a nationwide depression. The creating of more jobs by spending more money will not work. Thank you. Tomorrow we're going to be down at Ground Zero and down at the Ground Zero Mosque. If you'd like to join us there, we will be at Ground Zero at 11 o'clock. We will be at the Ground Zero Mosque at 1 o'clock. We will be speaking out against the mosque. We are very, very much. We are opposed. I cannot say that strong enough. We are opposed to the Ground Zero Mosque. Yes, they have a right according to the First Amendment. Just as we have a right to burn the Quran, they have a right to build the mosque there. But the mosque is in very, very poor taste. We are definitely against that. We will be protesting that. We will be standing up against that. We will be asking them to move that mosque to a different location. I have a question.